Hello, this is a test. I have no idea if I'm in focus. I have no idea if you can hear me. And apparently I've got to move backwards. Does it look like I'm in focus? I can't see. I don't have no idea where I am or not. One half this time. Am I in focus? Is it working, doing what I want it to do? Because obviously I'm slightly taller than you. Too high up? What do you mean by too high up? Hello my friends, welcome to London XO. As you can see behind me today, we're going to be creating as much content as I can from this year's photo and video show. We're going to be trying to go around and see who we can talk to and who we can interview, also to potentially network with for the YouTube channel, but potentially have lead on when it comes to the business as a whole, and also of course hear about what's happening and what's new for these manufacturers in the industry as well. So I'll cut to when we're inside and we're hopefully interviewing, but enjoy the show. Hello my friends, welcome to Inside the Centre today. We've been kindly given the opportunity to interview one of the gentlemen from Nikon, all about what's new and what they're showing here at the show.
Yeah, my name is Rob McNeice. I'm the stand manager for Nikon here at the photography show. I'm also I sort of head up Nikon's professional service department. So my job is basically to look after professional photographers, keep them happy with their equipment, offer them loans, things like that, get them to try on new stuff and see all the great stuff that Nikon's got out there to offer.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, today at the show, obviously, why does Nikon really come to a trade show like this? Is it to showcase new products, to meet photographers, to hear feedback? Like, why specifically does Nikon look to come to a show like this today?
I think we have to. I mean, I think this is certainly the biggest photographic event in the UK yearly. All our main competitors are here, and we believe right now especially we're making the best products. So a lot of the people that we're talking to are people that haven't been using Nikon over the last few years, that might be considering moving over to cameras like the Z8 or the Z6 III, a lot of the great cameras that we've got. But also it's to connect with our partners, connect with other companies, give our ambassadors a platform to speak, and our Nikon creators as well. So there's many reasons why we're here, but it's all a really positive experience for us, and yeah, we couldn't not be here.
And for those who, I mean, a lot of the creators who watch me are videographers either in the trade or looking to go into the trade. I mean, specifically, Nikon for a long time until they purchased Red last year. Would it be fair to say you guys weren't, I mean, I know that's what the industry thought, that you maybe weren't as focused on video. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think we've always been focused on video. What people don't remember is the first DSLR to have video was a D90, which was a Nikon one. But I think what we were lacking was a kind of heritage that some of our competitors had, that have had video ranges, been involved with broadcasting and TV for many years. So we were always kind of playing catch up in that respect. And I think we didn't really have the sort of the platform out to the videographers. But now I think with the Red Association, we've definitely got that. And we've been working at a few video shows recently, like BSC Expo a few weeks ago, and we'll be doing some more. So we'll be working more closely with Red, and I think having that synergy with them, having some of their technology and allowing them to have some of our technology, like we can see like the Komodo now having the Z mounts, which is a huge thing for Nikon, because I think historically and going back many years, Nikon glass was always very respected in the video industry. Even though we didn't have cameras for it, our competitors were using mounts to put some of that great old Nikon glass. You're obviously well aware of that yourself. But now I think having that synergy with Red and with the acquisition, we can only look forward to seeing really good things and being more closely associated with the video industry for sure. Yeah.
Fabulous. And a lot of people obviously looking at the show content today, and maybe they're looking to see what's coming out, and you know we're in a world where we're seeing new Panasonic line come out and etc. And maybe in the nicest way possible, is there a kind of thing on a horizon that you could maybe announce or hint at in respect to like the Z8 Mark II or etc. in that respect? I
mean, not at this stage, I think, but the good news is we're keeping spoiling our existing customer base with new firmware. So only last week we had some new firmware for the Z8 and the Z6 III, which gives you some more video functionality and so on. And we listen to photographers, we collect feedback from photographers and amateurs as well, and hobbyists and so on, and pass it up to Japan. So we keep improving the cameras through firmware. So the Z8 now is nothing like the Z8 when it was launched 2 years ago, and that keeps getting better. I mean, I'm not aware of any camera that's going to succeed the Z8 anytime soon. It will happen at some point, but in the meantime the Z8 is still a great camera, still packed with the latest technology.
Fantastic. And for those who are maybe interested in, those specific details, if you know off the top of your head about that firmware, I mean, we're shooting this on a Z6 Mark III at the moment. So maybe who are looking, and I know a lot of people who follow me are on Z8s or Z6 Mark IIIs, etc., or even maybe the Mark IIs. What are those kind of standout features for that firmware?
So there's been a lot of improvements with the last firmware, but firmware 2.1 on the Z8, we've also rolled it out to the Z6 III as well. It's things like better zoom controls, better functionality controls, so you can do a lot more with the buttons and the function rings on your lenses, things like that, more cropping options. So a lot of kind of video-centric things that will be particularly of use to people that use their camera for video or use it as a hybrid camera, which a lot of people are doing these days. Yeah.
Fabulous. And we also a couple of weeks ago saw the launch of the 28 to 135mm with the power zoom. Is that something that Nikon is really going to look to kind of move forward with? And we're seeing more power zoom lenses and that longer term support for more cinematic zooms in that respect?
I mean, I genuinely don't know what the future holds, but I think it's a fair assumption to make that this will be the start of a big line of kind of more video-centric lenses. Yeah, I mean, the feedback on that, we've got. There's only 2 in the country right now. They're here because it hasn't even gone to market yet. But you can have a look at it on the show here. And the feedback we've had. I mean, we had it at BSC Expo a couple of weeks ago as well. And the feedback both from the photographic and the video and the sort of hybrid industry is it's a great lens. Eagerly awaited. And again, especially with that synergy with Red and so on, it really does sort of propel us a little bit more into the video world. So yeah, I think we'll see more to come, I would imagine.
Fabulous. Thank you ever so much. And for those who maybe are looking at this and thinking about either potentially reaching out about ambassadorship or curators, I mean, could you share a little bit about that process? Because I think a lot of people are maybe interested in either becoming or part of it, or like where are the boundaries, or like how does someone really start reaching out to potentially being an ambassadorship or working maybe directly with Nikon in that respect?
Well, I think what we've done a really good job of in the last couple of years is bringing a lot of younger photographers and creators forward to our ambassador program or our creator program. I think in terms of being an ambassador, it's really about photographers that are well recognised in the industry, so maybe won awards, consistently put out good quality work and very respected by their peers and so on. Also, we look to people that have got a good existing relationship with Nikon and so on. Creators, we're always sort of on the lookout for new and fresh talent who can bring a little bit, especially where social media is concerned, because that's so important these days. Usually it's a case of we find the people that we want. I mean, sometimes people will approach us and we'll look at their work and we'll see how stunning it is and how many followers they've got and the sort of the reach that they've got that they can bring to our brand. And we may say, yeah, okay, brilliant, we'll have you. But usually we are on the lookout for the right sort of people to fit in with the brand, I would say.
Fabulous. Is there anything specifically at the show today that you're maybe like headlining, or new lenses or new cameras or etc., anything you really want to showcase?
I mean, I think as you'd already mentioned, the 28-135 is really the main new lens that we've got here. Also, we have got a great lineup of relatively new cameras like the Z6 III, which is doing really well, and the ZF, which came out a couple of years ago, our sort of retro style camera. But people, just speaking to the first hour here this morning, already speaking to a lot of people about the Z8, which, as you know, is a 2-year-old camera, but still really good, really attractive, and really, I would say, the best in its class. And the Z9, again, really great camera if you want the very best. But other than that, we keep improving our Z range of lenses as well. So we've got over 40 lenses now. So, coming from nothing a few years ago, built up that whole new system, and it's going just from strength to strength. So I would say there's a lot of things for everyone to look at really on the Nikon stand today.
Fantastic. And is there anything else you want to mention or specifically shout out or plug in that respect?
I think I should mention that it's International Women's Day, so we've got a good lineup of female creators speaking on our stand today, and some really sort of empowering talks and so on for women photographers. We want to try and help get more sort of women into photography, because traditionally it has been a sort of a male-dominated industry. So it's really great that Nikon can be a big part of that. Other than that, no, I don't think so. I'm just looking forward to being in the show. It's strange because this is my 19th year doing this show, but it's always been in Birmingham before, so it's nice to have it in London for once, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Fabulous. Thank you ever so much for coming.
That's all right, no problem. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
cheers.
you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Andy Burgess. I'm a video journalist and founder of Faultline.
Fantastic. And today you talked a lot about kind of the YouTube algorithm, and a lot of people who watch my content are starting out YouTubers, starting out videographers. There are people who are maybe starting to, should they have a channel, should they not have a channel? What would you say is the best thing should they start a channel? Is now a good time, or is it an oversaturated market, would you say?
For sure. I mean, I think we're living in an age where creators have so many opportunities, right? Like 20 years ago, like it was all like walled off by like big traditional media. Like now you have that opportunity. So I'd say, yes, there's a lot of saturation out there, but I 100% start. And the best way to learn is by just doing it, starting and doing it. That's what I did. I made a lot of very bad videos for a long time, started out on Snapchat, just making like daily videos, and then that moved into video journalism and documentaries. So yeah, like it's definitely a great time to like start doing it and finding your voice.
And for those people who are, really looking to maybe, because there's also a sector of the audience that I guess have YouTube channels and would be looking to really optimize what they're doing. So looking into that click-through rate, as you mentioned, looking through those average watch times and stuff. I mean, is it just about storytelling and nailing that? And what advice would you give to aspiring creators who are maybe smaller, who are looking to grow in 25 and 26 and beyond to, create something more, I guess in some ways monetizable, but also to get larger viewership, so then they can leverage that moving forward for either their business or their own personal brand?
Yeah, I think at the core of it, storytelling is the most important aspect. People would call it like retention tactics or whatever, but it's like, can you keep somebody compelled throughout your video? And to do that, you need interesting topics and thumbnails. And like, I would say just really lean in on what you are really passionate about and enjoy, because that will come through in your content. Nobody else, like people can make lots of copycat channels and take the same topic, but nobody can really replicate what you're doing. So try to build that into your content to make you stand out, and just find some creators that you love and like watch them, study what they do, study their storytelling, and again, you will just improve, and that'll bring in the viewership. And if you're looking to monetize it, that will also bring in monetization.
Fantastic. And for those people who are maybe interested in longer term, right? Because I think a lot of time, especially with the Mr. Bigification of YouTube, we're looking for quick pops, right? Quick videos that get loads and loads of views. What kind of timeline did you look for when you started? Were you looking for like, I need to make this work in a year, or like, because I think a lot of the time people spend a lot of their life going, I need it tomorrow, right? We're living in a TikTok age where everyone gets that quick validation of, my video's doing really well. But do you give it some time? Do you trust in your either your ability or the trust that you'll grow in the ability?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have been a creator for 9 years. I started Faultline 3 years ago as a business, but I started off something that I was really passionate about, like telling human stories through geography. That's what I think about every single day. That excites me. I think if you're starting a channel just to make it profitable and make money from it, you will quickly burn out. So it's got to be something that you're really passionate about. And for me, I kind of know how YouTube worked. I had a runway. I gave it about 6 months. I was like, okay, if we can have a runway and bring out consistent videos for 6 months, we can get it to a place where the channel will be monetized and we can start building a business out of this. Yeah, but I guess it varies. It depends on how much content you want to make, what the content is that you're making. There's like a lot of different factors. It's not like one size fits all.
Is it more of a momentum swing, would you say? Because a lot of people say to me, it's about constantly churning stuff out, right? You've got to, if you have a break, that's kind of game over for you, and then it's got to kind of start again. Or would you say creators should really focus on quality rather than quantity to be able to do those reps, of course, but actually be able to, I guess, long term have a channel that's going to grow on its own?
For sure. Quality, I think, is everything. We're in a place where, like you said, these platforms are so saturated. What makes you stand out? Yes, YouTube would like you to be posting consistently, but find something that works for you that's a good medium ground. For us, it's like every 4 to 5 weeks, and we know that people will come back if a video is in line with what we are trying to make. So we prioritize quality because we want people to stick around and watch our videos and know that we're going to present them something great, as opposed to like a video that's less. Like you may get more views on it like over time if you're putting out a ton of videos, but you probably won't build an audience that really care. And at the end, if you want to make your business sustainable, you need to build like a community of people who are interested in what you do. It's like, because again, like YouTube could shut down at any moment. They could totally tweak something. So if you have a loyal audience that care about what you do, they will follow you anywhere.
And what advice would you give to creators who are starting out and maybe looking to work with brands? You mentioned in your talk about Red Bull, they're a very big brand, but maybe a specific brand, maybe here at the show, etc., that a creator's looking to work with and add value to. What advice would you give to those creators who are maybe looking to target a brand like Red Bull, but it could be obviously any other brand in that respect?
Sure. I mean, the niche you're in depends on it. If you're in the like video photography niche, camera brands, etc., will be your forte. If you're a channel like that, start producing videos that you think that can add value to them, right? Like show them that you've cultivated an audience that care about cameras, for example, and then go towards those brands that like you work with, right? I spent a long time in that space and have worked with a lot of brands, and the way I get into conversations with them is like, I'm passionate about their products, I use them, so it's very easy to just start those conversations. I never really go into that thinking, oh, like I want to work with you and have like a brand deal to make this video. It's like, is there a good bond between us two brands? And then if that turns into a sponsorship, then your audience is kind of like, if you're like a camera channel, you're promoting a new camera, and the audience is like, oh yeah, he uses that. Like I will trust his recommendation. Maybe I will also go check that out. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to mention?
I don't think
Anything
so.
else you want to plug?
Check out Faultline. We make documentaries about human stories told through geography.
Thanks so much.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, so I'm Stephen Beloglu. I lead product marketing for the photography category at Adobe, working on Adobe Lightroom.
For those who maybe don't know about Adobe and the actual softwares itself, I mean, what would you say is, because there's a lot of conversation, a lot of competitors that potentially a photographer or a videographer would use, what would you say is like your USPs or your unique selling propositions when it comes to choosing Adobe over someone else in that respect?
Yeah, so Adobe has been in market for many years, providing professional software for creatives all over the world. We have some of the most amazing technology. And really, our mission is about creativity for all. So it's unlocking creativity for anybody at any skill level. So from a beginner, a hobbyist, all the way to the most advanced. We offer software across pretty every creative category, connected all together through Creative Cloud, so people can work seamlessly across video, photography, design, all with Adobe software.
Fantastic. And obviously a lot of people here at the show are maybe interested in kind of what's new for Adobe and what's coming from Adobe in that respect. I mean, is there anything that you see on the horizon that is really going to be groundbreaking for either filmmakers or photographers?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much. I mean, we're living in such an interesting time. At Adobe, we've really been focused on new innovation that we can deliver. So for the professionals that have been using software for a long time, accelerating workflows, leveraging AI, and other technologies. So really making those workflows way more seamless, way more accelerated. And then two, new possibilities with creativity. So we've been launching lots of new capabilities around using AI in order to basically unlock new ways that you can work. And taking the heritage of what we've done at Adobe to have the most precise, the most high quality edits and creative tools, and applying kind of this new technology to it, we've kind of just unlocked kind of the next generation of creative apps for the next generation of creativity.
Fantastic. And obviously, I mean, a lot of people will be aware that we're looking at Adobe about the work you're doing with Firefly and some of the other AI tools inside Premiere and obviously Photoshop with generative AI as well. Do you see Adobe or the future maybe of the video and the creative space moving more AI generated and moving into more built-in AI tools?
So I think the way we've thought about AI is today, particularly generative AI, is how can we enable creativity with these new tools? So it's certainly not a replacement for, for like the creative, how people do create or like the actual creative activity. It's really about how do we unlock those accelerated workflows, making those tedious tasks. Like you can imagine, even 5-10 years ago, creating masks and all of these like manual things you had to do click by click. It's now one click, and it makes things so much easier. And with that precision, so you can really rely on and have confidence that the results you're going to get are at the quality that you desire. So it's really, it's about accelerating human workflows. It's about unlocking new capabilities, and this is just new technology. Adobe Firefly is, just pushing new boundaries and doing it in a way that really honors the creatives. We've built Adobe Firefly based on content that we had rights and license to, as opposed to other types of generative AI technology that was maybe kind of widespread and didn't really honor creatives. And that's at the heart of Adobe and how we approach generative AI.
Fantastic. And you may have already mentioned it with the AI stuff, but is there anything specifically new? So maybe a new software or a big standout kind of update for mostly video side? Because a lot of the people who watch my channel are going to be video. But if there is anything on photo side that maybe could be used across, is there anything really coming that people can really get excited for and really are, I guess in some ways, look forward to in that respect?
Yeah. So Premiere's integrated a lot of really cool generative AI technology. You can dig in over there. There's lots to do, and really like being able to like fix those problems you have that took a long time. Like you had a little gap in a clip and you just wanted to create something to fill. Generative AI can kind of come in, understand the scene and how you're trying to create, and enable you to fill in that little moment. And so there's lots of technologies like that in Premiere. Lightroom has done a lot with bringing in like generative remove. So being able to, quickly remove something at a quality that is, second to none in the industry. So we're able to now like give you that one-click, easy way to remove something distracting from a photo. Photoshop, generative fill, similar type of technology, but then even using like what you can do in Photoshop, creating anything you can imagine. You can take a space in your image or your design and just tell it what you want in there, and generative AI will seamlessly integrate high quality, creative assets into your images. So I think the possibilities are endless, and we're kind of just scratching the surface. Adobe Lightroom, I really want to mention like quick actions. We've taken a lot of this technology, the intelligence we can build around understanding an image, and then giving you like one-click tools that look at the photo, figure out what are the type of edits you might want to make, and in one click just go through the sequence. Maybe blur a background, enhance a sky, retouch a subject. All of these things are now done just in like single click motion. So it's really accelerating workflows and unlocking creativity for all, because somebody who maybe doesn't have high levels of skill yet to do these individual toolings, you can jump in and just start making those types of powerful edits with ease.
Fabulous. Is there anything else you specifically want to mention about what Adobe's got going on, or anything you specifically want to plug?
Yeah, so here, we're excited to be at the UK Photo and Video Show. Adobe loves creatives, and we're here, kind of showcasing all the technology we have, celebrating photographers, videographers, the craft, and really want to connect how we can help creators learn about these new things, get inspired. This inspires us as well, so very excited to be here and to meet photographers, videographers from around Europe.
We can make a travel camera a lot smaller and lighter than that, I can tell you.
I'm Sam from Sigma. You're on the Sigma stand here at TPS 2025. It's been a great show. This is the first year it's been at Excel. We've seen a lot of good returning customers, but a lot of fresh faces as well. For us, it's been very popular. We've got 3 new products, which I've got right in front of me. So
Fantastic. What would you like to show us today?
So I'll start off with this is I'm going to call it the one which everyone wants to have a look at, because it's slightly different to the traditional camera. So this is our BF. It's a Sigma BF camera. It's a full frame mirrorless, minimalistic, simplistic camera. It's very, very nice. If you look on the back of it, we've got very little buttons. We've got just one top dial, one USB-C on the side, only 4, selection of buttons. It's very simple and easy. It's made for a single use, single hand workings as well. It's a lovely little camera to use. It's kind of, I see it as a nice camera to take out on the weekend with family, friends, kids. It's very beautiful to look at as well. We do it in silver and black, but it's basically stripping down all of the major controls into a more user-friendly environment for the customer, and it comes in an L-mount system as well, so you have so many lenses to pick from. It's a lovely little BF camera. So.
What made you want to jump into the camera? Because obviously Sigma were notoriously known for their lenses and really well known for their lenses, and obviously the sharpness of their lenses, but why are you looking to launch a camera specifically?
So a lot of people don't know that we always made cameras. Okay. So in the 64 years now, I'm adding the dates in my head, in just over 60 years, we've always been a camera and lens manufacturer. So we've had our SD series, our Merrill series, our now FP series, which is still running, and now a BF camera. It's something we always wanted to do. It's something from the founder of the business, and now the CEO wants to continue it going forward. I think it's fantastic. I really like it, and now we have an alliance with Panasonic, Sigma, and Leica, where we share the L-mount system. It just makes it easier for mirrorless lenses, which we can make really small, and it's that next stage of development for us, really.
Fantastic. And for those who are interested in maybe purchasing the camera, like, is it released? Like, when are we going to actually be able to get our hands on it? And then, of course, how much is it going to be? And do you have multiple models, or is it just one model?
Of course. So it was announced about 2 weeks ago. It comes out next month. The camera body itself is about £2,000. And then, depending on the lens, they're 400, roughly to about 700 for this style of lens. And I think it's going to be very popular. We do 2 different ranges of this camera. We do the silver I have here, and then we've also got the black, which is very similar to that black we have there. But I think the hardest question for me is, what color do I want to go for? Because I really like the silver, but then also I really like the black. So it's kind of swapping, and you can obviously put a silver lens on a black body, and vice versa. So I think it's going to be very popular for a stylish photographer. But yeah, that's our biggest, or our largest camera to show, which we're showcasing. We're still doing the FP series as well, where we also announced 2 other products as well, which is very exciting. So let me grab the next one up.
Just before we move on to lenses, what kind of megapixels and kind of specs have we got on this camera specifically? So I'm sure people were really interested to hear from the tech heads out there.
Sorry, I'm running through it, but yeah, so we got a full frame 24 megapixel sensor. The nice thing about the 24 megapixel sensor is, so the only thing you can externally take off is the battery in this, so it's all internal memory. So that's about 230 gigabyte in here. On that 24 megapixel sensor, you get about 4,000 RAWs roughly. It's packs a punch. It's very nice. But the nice thing is as well is you've got USB-C on the side, so you can just plug in a hard drive and externally pump it out, or you can do it the same with, say, a tablet or like a computer as well. So you got loads of options with it.
Fabulous. And you wanted to talk about some lenses?
Of course, yeah. I love these lenses as well. So you got the 16 to 300. This is the workhorse for the majority of shooters out there. If you're going on holiday, any travel, anything where you just want a 300mm as well as the wide 16mm, this would do it all in one. This comes out in Sony fit, so SE L mount fit for Leica, Panasonic and Sigma. We've got the X mount, which is Fujifilm, and then this Canon RF mount as well. It is a crop sensor lens, so if you have a full frame camera and pop this lens on, it will crop down into crop mode. But it's the perfect little size and weight for most people, and it's £599.
Were you looking to do that one in Nikon as well, or not?
Not currently.
Okay. Is that in the pipeline, do you think, or?
I don't
you did it. Okay, fair enough. No worries at all. And I mean, would you say this is something that is mostly for all-round shooters? So someone maybe shoot an event like today where you want that wide and that kind of telephoto look, obviously without switching lenses?
I think that's exactly that. It's the versatility in one lens. You can go from the 16 and get the full stand-in, and you get the nice close-up of the 300mm, someone in the distance, get your candid shots. But it's also for someone who might be shooting a lot of landscape stuff. They don't want to keep swapping the lenses out, and they don't want to get any dust on the back of it for the landscape work. So you keep one lens on, does all your focal lengths. It's kind of perfect little design, and it's not too. It's a good size and good weight with a camera on the back end, it balances nicely. So.
Fabulous. And kind of autofocus speed, is it kind of what people would expect, or is it specifically, you know, like really, really well rated? Or I may be fishing here a little bit, but I'm always interested to hear how the autofocus performance is, because I know that a lot of photographers are really looking for that.
Yep.
And you know, maybe how loud, maybe things like how loud the motor is and things like that for video as well. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So it's using our HLA, it's using a quieter motor in there as well. So you shouldn't hear anything going throughout. In terms of what was the last bit of the question?
So it's just about how quick the focus specifically can track on and etc. Obviously, it would depend on the camera as well, of course.
Because we make it for the native mounts, we've designed it specifically to be as fast as we can. So yes, you should get the same result as a native lens or as any of our Art Series lens would offer. So.
Fabulous. And for those who are interested in obviously the f-stops, is it a very aperture lens or is it a full all the way through?
Yeah, so it's a 3.5 to 6.7 lens as you go throughout the range, and it ramps very slowly as you go. There you go. So
obviously for those who maybe don't know, that you have to change your shutter speed slightly or etc. as you zoom in, if you do want to keep that same exposure and or pull it in post in that respect.
Exactly that. I mean, I cheat a little bit. I just put auto ISO on it and just bumps it up. But yeah, there's so many ways around it. And also, when you get to that focal length of 300mm, having a 6.7, the depth of field is still very shallow because you've got the distance with you as well. So.
Fantastic, and we can't not talk about this lovely behemoth here. And what
in the room, the bigger.
And what specifically, I mean, is this? I mean, this is I imagine a sports or wildlife photography lens. Is that kind of the goal? Is that the element here?
It is. It's one of those lenses which is a dream lens to have. So you've got a 300 to 600 f4 all in one. The hood makes up some of this. So let me take the hood off to show you the physical size of it. Sorry.
That's okay.
There we go. So it's an all-in-one f4 throughout. It's very, we've done incredibly well to produce it in an f4 in this size and weight, but this is for Sony E and L mount shooters. So.
Fantastic. And what would you say this, because I personally own the 150 to 600 for Nikon mount specifically, and I'm then finding that I need to, well, in some cases I'll telephoto, so use a teleextender to telephoto that to 1200mm. Is there any range or any conversation with what you're planning with the wildlife or the sports shooters to potentially have like an 800mm or anything along those lines? Because we're starting to see that as maybe a more commonality or a more common focal length for these larger telephoto lenses to use.
Okay, that would be lovely if we could produce an 800mm of that. I'd like to think so, yeah. So we always take a lot of research and development seriously. So for customers like yourself coming to us and recommending that, we feed that back. So yeah, watch this space, you never know.
Fantastic. And what would you, I mean, is this like the standout sports lens or standout wildlife lens that you would recommend from yourselves, or is there other options and other things that people may be able to look for? Is this more for photography shooters? Is this video shoot? Like, what's this really designed for? Is it for sports? Is it for wildlife? Is it for like, a mix of both? Like, where would you say it sits?
I would say it's a mix of both. It kind of fills the gap nicely. I mean, you've got this is a very high-end lens. It comes in around just under £6,000 as well. It's a very big lens, so if you're going on safari and you're an amateur and you're just doing it for a holiday, probably wouldn't recommend taking something this large. That's why we've got a 150 to 600 to 60 to 600, which does a large range. This is for the customers which want a lot of light coming through, that depth of field to be extra shallow, and someone who can carry this for the day and also get a good range off of it with the low light. So
fabulous. Is there anything else you specifically want to mention about either these products or anything else that you've got here at the show, or anything else you want to shout out?
Not particularly. We've got everything here ready to go. So if customers are coming around at the show, please say hello, and we can demo them and have a look. So.
Thank you ever so much for the time, Sam. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hi, my name's Alex, so I am the marketing manager at Rode's UK distributor, Source Distribution. So we're responsible for local events such as this, and also sort of local media and anything to do with the UK. So we're here at the show today with lots of new stuff and lots of old stuff. So we're here with the RodeCaster Video is probably the largest new product that we've got here today. Totally new entry into Rode's sort of market sector. They've not gone involved with the video sector before. Obviously a lot of audio products for film, so it was a natural move into getting into the video side of things. The RodeCaster Video here is it's a video switcher, but also a media player, also manages audio, more importantly, which is a unique feature in that space. So yeah, this is probably the biggest product that we have here today. But then we're also representing with all of our wireless shotguns and the podcasting gear that, you know, people are obviously very familiar with our brand on.
Would you say, because obviously I think the RodeCaster Pro, if I'm understanding it correctly, is maybe a direct contributor or a direct competitor to the A10 switcher line. You may not want to necessarily talk about that specifically, but that to me, when I jump and think, is it meant to be a one solution in regards to, because previously you would have to run audio into maybe like a mixer from Rode or etc., and then your visuals through the ATEM? Is that why you think Rode specifically jumped into the switching game in the Pacific, because they could see a way to do a one-time solution in that respect?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I think it's having an all-in-one solution, and it's making the entry point easier. So every product that Rode have made, it's all about just not having to get into the highly technical side. It's about your content. You have the idea, you have the creative vision, and there shouldn't be barriers to getting that out. So with video content, multicam, video podcasting, streaming, there was like a level of knowledge with other switches that you had to have to be able to get a certain level of content. And I think Rode saw there was an opportunity first to bring audio and video all together into one, but also to provide like an easy user experience for creating multi-camera content and for live streaming, one that is just all in the same box and that has easy to understand, something that you can just pick up in a couple of hours and with a couple of cameras be making like really good quality multi-cam content.
Fantastic. I mean, that's great to hear. I mean, how is it priced? Because obviously if it's entry level, then hopefully it would be a lower price in that respect. I mean, how is the price? Is there multiple models? Can you tell us a little bit more about the actual podcaster itself and sort of maybe some of the tech side of it as well, if you know it?
So yeah, the RodeCaster Video, it currently retails in the UK at £999. And it's Rode's first entry into the video space. Whether that evolves or not, we can't say at this point. But it's certainly, it's not going to be Rode's last video product, I can tell you that. So in terms of like the technical side of it, it has a quad-core processor in it. It is a computer in there. It can play media. It's a very powerful computer inside.
Is it something that you could live stream? Because some of the competitors that we spoke about, you can directly either record the switches that are taking place or live stream directly. Is that the terminology and the stuff that you could do on this as well, or do you still need a separate device to do that?
No, absolutely. So this is an all-in-one machine. So you can log into your YouTube account on the unit, and you can live stream directly into YouTube from the unit while also recording onto an SSD from the same unit at the same time. So you can have delivered your live stream and have a recording of that live stream ready to deploy on other channels. So it really is an all-in-one solution. Yeah.
Fantastic. And obviously, I mean, today we're at the show and we're using Rode products, right? So we're using a wireless Go system. Is there any sort of updates or things that are coming to the wireless Go either ecosystem, or because obviously we're using Gen 2s, but obviously Gen 3 was a big leap. Is there going to be maybe a Gen 4 coming in the near future?
So I think, the Go Gen 3 has just come out, so there's no sort of plans immediately for any more in that particular product SKU. There will be other products coming in the Rode wireless family in the near future, but we can't talk about that quite now.
Is there anything that specifically is maybe new to the show that is a really standout product from an audio source? Obviously, we've got the video switcher that we've discussed, but is there anything specifically regarding maybe the podcasting side, or obviously we've got shotgun mics here, we've got lav mics here, we've got a lot of microphones here. I mean, what would you say is maybe the standalone mic? Obviously, it's depending on your use case, but as maybe an all-rounder or someone who's maybe looking to start out, what would you recommend they potentially look at as a all-round microphone that can sort of help with their audio quality as a whole?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's obviously a lot of different use cases for each type of microphone. Our wireless mics are the most popular category because they do, in the current trends in content creation, the types of content people are making generally lend themselves to wireless mics because they often involve people, and they often involve people speaking. And the most convenient way of doing that is with a wireless set, really. And the popularity in wireless has pushed shotguns, down a little bit. We're seeing more and more people using wireless, slightly less people using shotguns, but there's use cases for every type of microphone, and it's important to have the right mic for the right situation. So, the newest thing we have here in the audio space is the Wireless Micro, which is a smartphone-only wireless mic set. So more and more people are smartphone first in their content shooting, especially if their primary platforms are like TikTok or Instagram. So those platforms only allow video shot through phones. So, having a set of mics dedicated to that kind of system that's just plug and play, get it out the case like your AirPods, that is the thinking, and that's our newest audio product here. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the time. Is there anything else that you specifically want to talk about or specifically want to mention, either here at the show or that are maybe coming to Rode?
No, not at the moment. There's new announcements coming, but yeah, can't say anything at the moment.
Well, thank you ever so much for the time, Alex.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
So I'm Tom Story. I work within the Canon UK marketing team, and I'm the product specialist for anything to do with our pro video products, so from Cinema EOS, PTZ and camcorders. So what we're showing here today is a range of B2B solutions and how Canon are really pioneering the top end of the spectrum. So as well as showing the content creator area on the other side of our stand, which is those getting into creating content with our entry products, we're showing here where some of the really big players are using our equipment out in the field. So don't just take it from us, take it from some of the examples we have here. So to give an example, we've got a C500 Mark II here, which is used alongside C70 and R5C for Clarkson's Farm, which is a really big prime video show, some beautiful footage out of the camera. And then a really important area for us is visual podcasts. So Canon are really going after that area and doing a fantastic job in terms of working with some brilliant key players in that area. So such as you mentioned, Stephen Bartlett within Diary of a CEO, so that's now all C70s with RF glass, and things like the Peter Crouch podcast as well. So people are going for Canon from a podcast point of view because they want great visuals, straight out of camera, no messing around, fantastic autofocus, and that's really important to make sure they get a nice crisp image and something you don't need to go and edit afterwards. But visual podcasting really is becoming a really big part of podcasting in general, because it's the main way that you can market yourself, create content, social media, cuts, anything like that to kind of promote your podcast effectively. And then finally, we also have off to the side here, we have the C400 and also some outdoor PTZs, and showing how a mixture of these cameras were used at major UK music festivals, such as Boomtown Festival. So they were using big C400s with city servo lenses for our hero shots, and then mixing and cutting in PTZ cameras, which are becoming really popular for live events, because you can control all of them remotely, including our cinema cameras from a remote control desk. So a lot of exciting areas that Canon are really pioneering now in the industry.
Fantastic. Are you seeing either at Canon or yourself personally that, because there's been a lot of obviously talk around video podcasting, right? It used to be have a conversation with a microphone and that was it, right? And there was this, I guess, in some ways, some people I think thought it was a trend or thought it was like a gimmick to an extent. Are you personally seeing that actually, no, it's more serious, and actually to have your podcast taken seriously, actually it needs to be videoized?
I think personally, in order to survive in the podcast world now, you need to be shooting video. I think that's the main way you can market yourself, because everything is consumed on a phone, on a big screen, whatever it might be. And the main way you can get your audio out there is to put some content with it. Because besides, radio adverts or something, which you're not really going to get for a podcast, that's really the only way to audibly, market yourself. So it's definitely an area where, the visuals are so important, and people want to look good on camera, which is what we found with the Crouch podcast. Like, we showed them the cameras and they went, we want to look like that on camera, and we made it happen. So here we are.
What would you say allows Canon to stand apart? Obviously, here at the show we've got nearly all the big name players in that respect. What specifically, if say someone is a video production company listening to this and they're about to purchase or jump into, okay, yeah, we're going to have a studio, yeah, we're going to offer video podcasting, what would you say to them that really stands them apart, why they should be choosing Canon cameras or RF glass to run that production rather than the other competitors in the market?
Yeah, so I think in terms of Canon as a brand, I think we're just known for having a beautiful image straight out of camera. I mean, our cinema cameras, for example, have wide DR, which is super popular image profile straight out of camera. You don't need to be shooting log or raw or whatever else because it's not needed. You want quick turnaround, you want it to look good, and yeah, you just want a beautiful image straight out of camera and less work in post-production. And then combine that with the fantastic autofocus, which with dual pixel autofocus, it's adapted and evolved so much since we first started back in our original cameras, that now it's so much more reliable. Things like face only, or it's now called detect only, means you can literally make sure the camera only focuses on a face. So if the face disappears out the shot, or they duck out of frame, you don't have to worry that the camera's going to focus on the background. Like, the camera does all the hard work for you, effectively.
Is it just like image quality and the technical specs that would make someone jump from, say, an R5 Mark II, for example, that's more of a consumer grade hybrid camera, great camera in its own right, but then jump to your more cinema line and cinema grade? I mean, from your perspective, why would someone move from that creator field or that hybrid shooter into a more you could say broadcast, or you could say more professional, top end kind of, because it's a big jump in price normally, right?
Well, you say that, but I mean, something like a C70 is actually similar price to like an R5 Mark II. So it's really horses for courses and what you actually need as a filmmaker or photographer. Obviously, if you need a hybrid camera, then it's a no-brainer. You need an R5 II or something along that side. But if you're after a dedicated video camera, then going for something like one of our Cinema EOS cameras, you get all the benefits like better battery life, longer record times, you've got built-in cooling, and even things like built-in ND filters, which when you're going outside filming, that really, really helps. Now, from a podcasting point of view, I think things like the long run time is really helpful. Obviously, Canon Mains Parrot is the backup to that. But just getting all the extra video tools that you get within a cinema product, I think really can lend themselves to getting your podcast that one step better in terms of just setting it all up and getting the image you need.
Fantastic. And how is it easy to use, like from a setup point of view, and is it designed in that way, would you say?
Yeah, so one of the reasons that people keep coming back to the Cinema EOS range is just the simplicity and how the menus are created and put together. Like, anyone, give them a few hours to get their head around how the system works if they're completely new to Canon, and they can soon just pick up and use it. And that's why a lot of people in the TV world, for example, always end up coming back to our cameras because they're used to that menu. And it's not really changed in terms of layout, etc., since some of the first Cinema EOS cameras. It's kind of become familiar with people, and we've kept it that way, which people want that. They want that familiarity, and they want it to be just easy to pick up and use. You don't want to be buried in menus and menus. You just want it to be simple.
Absolutely. I mean, I think as well, a lot of people are thinking about, what in regards to lens support, right? And I think is one of the appeals, because you have that cross-party support to the older glass, and or if not, why would you recommend someone maybe makes the purchase and jump into RF glass? Is it just the faster IF? Is there other reasons behind why someone should maybe shoot on RF rather than saying, okay, well, actually, I'll just buy on second hand and buy, the EF glass and then adapt it across in that respect? I mean, what do you think about that in regards to lens compatibility, and of course, then obviously the growth steps that come from that jump to RF as well?
I think it's all about like I say, the growth. With EF, we wanted to make sure that people could bridge that gap, because we realised that it's an investment, investing in glass and a camera. And of course, there's no downside to using an adapter, and the performance is still fantastic. But one big benefit you get when you move to RF is optically, most of the lenses can now resolve up to these 8K sensors and more that we're getting now in some of our cameras. Autofocus is a huge improvement because there's a lot more communication. So EF used to be 8 pins, it's now 12 pins on RF, so it's two-way communication. With certain cameras, it's even the IS can work both in camera and in the lens, and you actually get improved performance. And even things like the control rings, adding functionality to the lens means it's just that one extra step to make the usability of the camera that step easier for you as an operator.
Fabulous. Is there anything else you specifically want to mention, obviously from the cinema side and what Canon are doing or potentially looking to do, and what you really want to highlight today at the show?
I think we're just really excited to be here to show a huge range of how Canon on the B2B side really is pioneering the way for a huge range of industries. great.
Thank you so much.
So my name is Media, and I am a product specialist at Canon UK. My role focuses on new products. So before we launch these products, I get hold of them, I get to test them, and then we talk to different retailers and dealers about these products, to the journalists as well. So I manage the new product launches for photo side as well as pro video side.
Fantastic. And obviously, as we were just discussing before we jumped on the camera, I mean, a lot of people were excited to hear about the Mark V, Mark II and that jump, and sort of it being a leap into what could be described as a professional content creator's camera, right? That's how I personally see it. I mean, what would you say to people who are maybe listening to this who are looking to start video or looking to start content creation as a whole, and maybe they have some hurdles or maybe they're not overly confident? I mean, what advice would you give to those people?
I mean, I believe based on the range of cameras that we have, we do have a product for everyone, whether they're beginners, intermediate or professionals. The R5 Mark II, as you mentioned, it's one of my new favorite cameras we have. Obviously, this is the first appearance of the R5 Mark II at the photography show because we didn't have it last year. Same as with the R1, our new flagship EOS R camera. We also have, obviously, going up from the R5 Mark II, we do have cinema options, so cinema offerings. But even as well as the R5 Mark II, we have, if we talk about, say, for example, someone that usually maybe do content to their phone, for example, we do have step up from that level up to, even if we cover a few products, up to the R5 Mark II. So we have the PowerShot V10, for example, great, compact, lightweight, vlogger's camera. Even the design of that camera is designed for to be used held vertically, similar to mobile phone users, but with the larger sensor, better audio, so people can still see the improvements. 4K 30, for example, if you want to do high resolution video. Very easy to use, and you do have all the automatic modes, presets, but it does give you the option to do a little bit more, attach like external mics as well. Then we have the R50, don't know if you want to have the look, which is our one of the entry mirrorless cameras that we have, very popular, very small, lightweight, APS-C, 24 megapixels. You can still do, again, 4K 30. It's been very popular and widely used for entry, visual podcasts as well. And more content creators are actually now using it. It's usually for stills, but more people are using it for video. And as I said, now we're up to 57 RF lenses, so they have plenty of options to use from. We also have the R8, which is again the sensor from the R6 Mark II, but smaller, lighter, more affordable option. Longer recording for those that want to do 4K up to 60. Great performance, obviously, because it's a full frame sensor. Then we hit the R6 II, the R5 Mark II.
Fabulous. I mean, specifically at the show today, do you have anything that's specifically new that you're either announcing or showcasing specifically here at the show?
Yeah, so as well as obviously on the top of the R5 Mark II and the R1, we also have our latest hybrid lenses that we introduced in October last year. So probably most people are familiar already with the 24-105 f2.8 that we launched towards the end of 2023. And we continue to expand our hybrid system offering, because with content creation, it's not just about video, it's about stills as well. And wanting to have that flexibility, you want to have the best of both worlds without compromising. One of the new hybrid lenses that we have is a 70-200. We know that's a very popular focal length. With the hybrid lenses, we take the best features and popular features from cinema lenses and standard photo lenses and put them in one solution. 70-200, similar again to the 24-105. You can use the power zoom, so you can control the zoom from the dial on the body. You can control it wirelessly as well. And then you do get you start seeing some of the benefits from our cinema cameras, like for example, minimized focus breathing, electronic parafocal, so you zoom in, you don't have to worry about your focusing, shifting, for example, iris ring. And we also introduced a new range of hybrid primes. We started with the 35 1.4, and then towards the end of the year we introduced the 24 1.4 and a 50 1.4. They're designed to be identical size-wise, slight differences in terms of weight, but then again, when you're using them, for example, on a gimbal and swapping them, you don't have to worry about making any adjustments because it basically easily slot in. And hopefully we'll see more of those new lenses in the future. We also understand having VR. So last year we were showcasing our VR offering with the dual fisheye 5.2mm, but we launched 2 more lenses last year. So different price point as well. So it's all about having different solutions at different price points for these content creators. Both lenses that we launched last year are for APS-C, so you can use them with the R7. So again, R7 compared to R5 Mark II is more affordable. One of them is the 3.9mm dual fisheye lens for 140 VR content. And then the latest one was the 7.8mm dual lens for spatial video and 3D photo. I think the Apple headset, I think that Apple did make an announcement about that lens as well when they launched with the headset. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, and for those who may be watching the interview and looking to see these wonderful cakes that are spinning behind us, I mean, what's going on here? What are you trying to, I guess, encourage creators to potentially be looking at here with these wonderful cake displays?
We're trying to show that you don't basically need to spend a fortune. Different examples in terms of how they can set up. So the food area behind me, so we've got like a top view and a side view. So we've got an R8 on the top, and then we've got an R6 Mark II, plus the R5 Mark II as well, and seeing what they can achieve with just, as I said, simple combinations, maybe lighting. Obviously for video you can just add simple mic, because I think sometimes with video in particular people tend to be too scared of either messing around with the settings, audio, but I think the cameras, yes, they have more features, but they're actually a lot easier. I think our menus are a lot easier to use, and if you leave the camera on automatic, the camera will do pretty much everything for you.
Do you see a lot of people kind of switching from hybrid, or like, you know, as they get into the market, and is that the future in respect to their you know, at that entry level? Are they looking for a hybrid camera, or are they looking for something that's maybe specifically focused around photography, or vice versa in regards to video? Or is the future more going to be for entry level shooters that hybrid approach in that respect?
I think nowadays, if you look at cameras, be it Canon or other manufacturers, probably 90% of their mirrorless cameras are actually hybrid, because all the cameras nowadays do video. I think the choice will be how advanced you want those video options to be, resolution-wise, for example, like the R5 Mark II, if you want to do 8K up to 60. We have some of our cinema cameras, you've got 6K, and then the majority of the cameras now can do 4K. Then you start looking at like what options you have if you want to do a little bit more in post, so like with C-Log options, audio options, so in terms of the different types of accessories you can use, how long you can record for. So I think I think apart from our cinema, some of the cinema EOS cameras, we're not going to see a camera with that video option. It's giving people the choice. So yes, there might be hybrid shooters, but photo first, so they're more photographers than videographers. But it's a lot easier nowadays to actually just switch to video mode and hit record and you're ready to go. And it's the same thing for videographers diving into photography, for example. It's not alien to them anymore, because it's the same camera that they use for video. They're just creating or taking pictures instead. So again, making that transition a lot easier, and we're dealing with just one product that does it all basically for them. And the lenses as well, so you don't have to worry about the performance of the lens, because with the hybrid lenses, hybrid cameras, as I said, I believe we've got a powerful hybrid system.
Fabulous. Is there anything else specifically you want to talk about, highlight, showcase, etc.?
I think those are the highlights, but I mean, as I said, we have, I think since we launched the EOS R system in 2018, we're up to 18 bodies that we have, as I said, from the R100, which is very entry, up to the R1, and 57 lenses. So for those that want to, they're not sure, sometimes it's always worth trying. We do sometimes have like test drive options, so people can actually borrow some kit for like 48 hours, then try it and see how they got on with it if they're not sure. Some of the cameras nowadays, I think when you start looking at the spec, they might look identical, but when you start looking at the specifics, depending on the needs and requirements, it start basically becoming, the image is clear. And as I said, I believe in the EOS R system, and I believe that everyone or every content creator will find the right products with us.
Fabulous. Thank you ever so much for the time.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. That's going to wrap today. Was really, really good, really exhausting. I think we ended up doing about 7 interviews specifically, and ended up finishing slightly earlier, which is nice, and had a lovely conversation with a handful of the providers and the brands today. So I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did and you would like to hear how video can help your business in 2025, I'll leave my information somewhere around this video, and I expect we'll be back next year. So thank you ever so much for consuming the content from this year's show, and I'll be back very, very soon with a brand new content showing how you can utilize social media, video, and of course media as a whole to grow your business. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.